The issue's made headlines around the world. The Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, says athletes who have male genetic characteristics should not be admitted to women's competitions. The Aussie boxing champion Billy Dibb says Olympic boxing needs to ban this. It's a joke. A UN specialist on violence against women and girls says Angela followed her instincts and prioritised her physical safety. She and other females should not have been exposed to this physical and psychological violence based on their sex. And that's coming from the UN. Lucy Zelic is passionate about this issue. She's part of Nine's Olympic commentary team. Lucy, what do you make of this?
It's a disaster, a circus, a disgrace, an embarrassment, a slide on the credibility of the International Olympics Committee, and an opportunity for us to say to anybody that agrees with this that you are also a disgrace. This has been something that women have been screaming about for years. This isn't something that's just arisen overnight. This is something that has really taken a hold of so many organisations who've been ideologically captured by the support of biological males competing in female categories, and it has to end. And the scenes that we saw last night, they were devastating, Ben. And I felt truly, truly saddened for Carini, who was trained her whole life, dedicated so many fights and qualifications, particularly to Paris 2024, to her late father. I mean, you only have to see the footage of when she qualified. Her breaking down in tears and saying, "This is for my father." She did much of the same in the mix zone with the press following this, debacle overnight, where she said, I wanted to do this for my father. I wanted to honour him, but I just couldn't. I feared for my life. You saw the footage of her. I mean, it only lasted 46 seconds. It was so quick, but you saw the footage of her turning to her team and saying, apologies to our Italian listeners, it's pretty scratchy these days, mine. But she said, non è giusto, which means this is not fair. This is not fair. And she said it repeatedly. And I felt for her. My heart broke for her. But the ultimate question that I have is what needs to happen to a woman? We've had them severely injured. And that's occurred in Sydney alone, where a female footballer's leg was broken and has ruled her out of competitive sport for life. We've seen that happen here. Does a woman now need to lose her life for people to up and take note?
Well, I wonder, Lucy, whether this is the catalyst for change, because this has gone around the world. You've got everyone from the Italian Prime Minister to the United Nations speaking about it. And Angela Carini said afterwards she was in extreme pain. And this is the line that really struck a chord with me. She said, "I've never felt a punch like this."
She said, I've never been hit that hard. And she said, I'm a warrior, but I feared for my life and I had to call a stop to the fight. She said, I did not want to fight anymore. This is a woman that's trained to fight, right? That has that instinct and that urge to fight. And she said, I did not want to fight. Right? And if that's not clear enough, but the issue is that the special rapporteur that you've mentioned there, Remus Lean, she also provided evidence to Sal Grover's case, right, who's in a similar fight of her own to ensure that single-sex spaces are reserved for females only, right? And none of this is being listened to, Ben. This is the big problem. Right, is that although that this has gone global now and it's really put this issue in the shop front window, what's going to be done off the back of it? The IOC, who are just a categorical joke, have emerged to defend this situation in multiple...
Yeah, I want to read out what Mark Adams has said, Lucy. He's an IOC spokesman. He says, this conversation is not helpful, it's a witch hunt, and he's asked everyone to dial it down.
Well, it's not going to be dialed down. If anything, it's dialing up even further because of their response and their reaction to this. And furthermore, they've also gone on to say that the reaction to the boxing match overnight has been aggressive. What's aggression if it's not a male getting into a boxing ring with a woman and beating her for sport? Right? What's that if it's not aggression? We talk endlessly, Ben, about protecting women from domestic violence and standing up and hashtag believe her and hashtag me too. It's all a joke. It's all a box-ticking exercise to make it look as though people give a damn about women's rights, but they actually don't, because they've been years in sport and in single-sex spaces and they're not doing a damn thing about it. And it's a shame on society and a shame on humanity.
Lucy, we've loved your commentary during the Olympics and look forward to catching up with you back in Sydney. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me, mate, and for amplifying this issue. I wish we were just talking about the Olympics coverage that Channel 9 has been producing and these magical moments that we've seen these Australian athletes engaging in. But here we are, and we will continue to stay here until change is enacted, mate.
Spot on, Lucy Zelic, and I'll leave this comment with Brett. Brett says, Ben, the IOC is a joke.
If you've got a news tip, email ben@2gb.com.